Then we are going to be honored tonight by having a musical performance by the Royal Chamber Choir from Roy High School under the direction of Shannon Selby. They are going to sing a couple of selections for us, Take Me Out to the Ball Game and Good Night, Dear Heart. When they finish their presentation, we will have the stand and have the Pledge of Allegiance, and Marcy Larson, one of the students here, will lead us in that.
Hello, thank you for allowing us to come and perform for you this evening. We have a couple songs that we're going to sing. I just wanted to introduce the first song that we are going to sing. Is the connection. The kids kind of understand the reason why this song was composed. It was actually dedicated to for the loss of a sweet, sweet child. And the text is the text that is found on the tombstone from one of Mark Twain's daughters. So it has kind of a special meaning
don't win, it's a shame, a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3, you're out at the old baseball ball game. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Bodies of peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, for it's roots for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old Viking. It's such an exciting game. Play ball.
I think they have a favorite. I think they have a favorite of those two.
Great job.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Macy.
Let's give the Roy Chamber Choir another big hand. That was wonderful. And for all you parents that came to watch, we wouldn't be offended if you took off now. That'd be great with us, so go ahead. We don't expect you to sit through the whole meeting. Matt Williams.
All right. Can you hear me? Yeah? There we go. It is a pleasure of mine to be with you tonight, first of all. And so Superintendent Butters, President Whittison, Board, and Mr. Mitchell. I got to get a shout out to Mr. Mitchell. He's my former boss and stuff. So we have some celebrities. All that we get to talk about tonight are celebrities in my mind. And so if I could ask Mr. Matthew Patterson to please come up here. I get the privilege of presenting Mr. Patterson. Please come up. Matt is the principal of our brand new junior high, Mountain View Junior High. And Matt was nominated and awarded by the UASSP, that is the Utah Association of Secondary Schools Principals, as the middle level principal of the year for the state of Utah. So congratulations, Matthew. We have a short video, so if the gentleman back there, if they'd play that video,
So I have a very exciting announcement to make today. We have hundreds of secondary schools in the state of Utah, but we only have one middle level principal of the year, and it is your principal, Mr. Matthew Patterson.
He is one who lives as he believes. He walks the walk and walks the talk in education, and especially in his leadership style. So as soon as I met Mr. Patterson and he started to discuss his vision for Mountain View Junior and what his philosophies were in education, as far as every student having a face and a name and a purpose, and the educators that he worked alongside, his staff and the community, he made it very, very clear that he wanted something different, something better, and that he wasn't afraid to take risks, or the word we use around here is to disrupt. He wasn't afraid to be disruptive in the process to find success, and that really resonated with me.
Well, I know he has an infectious excitement and passion for doing big, amazing things, and that's something I really bought into, and something I've noticed that Matt's really tried to bring as part of the culture here at Mountain View.
Matt has just done such a fabulous job of creating such a wonderful community here at Mountain View. and helping create a culture where everyone feels important, everyone feels included, and we're just one big happy family.
He's a great principal. When I learned about him is that he is on the level with everyone, and he doesn't think that he's better than everyone because he's the principal, and he's very kind to all the students, and yeah, he's a great principal.
Matt his brain is always on. He's always thinking about something he can do for kids, for others, for the school, for the community. Almost every day, he'd come into my office right where he is and say, I've been thinking about something. And I knew I would settle in because Matt was going to tell you some great idea, some thought that he had that would help kids, help the school, help the community.
He's super caring. He has a purpose in everything, but he makes everything fun. And he's able to not take the things that so many people I feel like get like inundated and like so like serious about. He makes it enjoyable, so that even in the hard times, it's like, yeah, we got this. We can do it.
He cares deeply about his employees here at Mountain View as well as the students, and making sure that we all feel welcome.
And I remember specifically Matt asking me, like, how do you intend to make every student be your student? Because we have classrooms, and you tend to get to know your own students within your classroom better than you do everyone else that's in the hallway. But it is one thing that he's just made very clear, that no matter where we are, every single kid at Mountain View is our kid.
He listens and lets everybody have a voice, and I guess going back to the other question, he's excited about every opportunity, no matter how small or how big. I mean, just the other day I was showing him how I did data, and he was all giddy like a kid on Christmas. And he's the same way if we have an idea about our values, community, grit, or empathy, or if we have, our classroom contracts and roles and things like that. Everything, no matter how big or small it appears, he's excited about and wants to find a way to make it bigger and better.
He sees everybody. He knows everybody. He knows what they're going through, and he always is pointing out their positives.
He is high-fiving. He's asking names. He's finding out what these kids are struggling with, what they're interested in, what their likes and dislikes are. There's a lot of fist bumps and actively building relationships.
Matt is an expert at building capacity and building ownership. He wants everyone he works with to feel like they're a part of whatever it is that we're doing. I've worked with several other administrators over the years, and Matt was far and away the best at making me personally feel like I was part of something greater than myself. But he also made the entire staff feel that way. Everyone, you didn't know if you were Matt's favorite, because everyone felt like they were his favorite. Because he treated everyone like they were part of the team, they were part of the inside circle, and they were all contributing to the greater good. I would follow him in the battle. I'd sit in the foxhole with him. He's an amazing administrator, and he's an even better human being. And that's hard to say because he's administrator of the year.
Matt goes above and beyond for everybody. Matt is by far the best principal I've ever had. He's compassionate, understanding. It makes me want to show up every day being the best educator I possibly can be. And that is such a welcomed feeling, because not everybody gets to feel like they want to skip to work every day. And I currently feel that way, and it's an awesome feeling. I wish everybody could do it.
But I love my job. I love coming to work every day, and it is because of you and your programs and how you work things and run things.
Matt, congrats, man. There's no one I know that deserves this more than you. You work tirelessly for the kids. You deserve this recognition. And I'm just honored to know and work with you.
Congratulations, Matt. We're so happy for you. It is well deserved.
Congratulations, Mr. Patterson.
Matt, congratulations. We love you, and we're so proud of you. But I think you are just meant to be a leader in life, and you have quickly become not only a dear friend, but a very trusted colleague, and I can't think of anyone more deserving of Principal of the Year than you. It's very obvious that you live it, and so you deserve it. So congratulations.
I was talking to Mr. James, who made this video, and he said there was so much more we could put on there because there were so many great things said about Mr. Patterson. When Mr. Mitchell and I had a discussion of who would lead our new junior high, it took us about 30 seconds to figure out that Matt Patterson was the man for the job. I need to share with you, though, I had maybe the most uncomfortable conversation of my life. I was told that I needed to reach out to Matt's wife, and I said, Mrs. Patterson, can you keep a secret from your husband? And I was like, oh, wow, that could be bad. And I said, we're going to celebrate him. He's going to receive an award at this assembly. And it was awesome. So, Matt, we are lucky that you're in Weber School District. You are so deserving. We appreciate all that you do. Congratulations.
Yeah, let's see if we can hold it together. Yeah, I've got my beautiful wife, Melinda, and my daughter, Lily, here tonight. They both, I know they put up with a lot, and you got to have a strong wife and family to support a junior high principal. And just super grateful for them. And I've got a son on a mission in Washington, and then my oldest is up at Utah State. He thinks he wants to be an engineer, so he's doing differential equations and something else up there. Who knows what he's figuring out? But apparently that was more important than tonight. I'm still trying to figure out if that's the case. So I think Ben is here too as well. Ben's a great friend, and obviously grateful for him and the time we've spent together. And you heard from him on the video, which is awesome. But I would be amiss. I know all the teachers and staff and students and secretaries and district office people, they're a part of this. It's just not me. It's a whole system. It's Weber School District. It's who we are and what we're about. And so, as grateful as I am, I learned leaving lessons from Gina last week. She says, Matt, I don't love this. I don't like to be in front, and to get the recognition, she said, lean into this. And so I've thought about that a lot, and it's an honor to represent Weber School District and the great people that are here. So thanks.
Rabbit ears.
We graduated from cell phone. That's great.
Yeah, we feel good about that piece of equipment.
Let's turn some time over now to Superintendent Butters and our CTA Director, Rod Belknap.
Test. Well, before Matt leaves, I've got to remind him that we're asking him to do a twofer tonight. We have an administrative spotlight, and we thought while he's here, let's make sure that he can share a little bit about what's going on at Mountain View Junior High School. So he'll be back, and we're excited about that. I've got Director Belknap with me, and I'm going to take this off. Excuse me. Board members, it's truly an honor to recognize an extraordinarily generous grant award that we have recently received from Intermountain Community Care Foundation. Tonight, we're privileged to have Barry Buse from Intermountain Health with us, and we'd like to formally express our deepest gratitude to him and the foundation for their remarkable $5 million grant to Weber School District. You heard that right, $5 million grant. Barry, would you come up and join us? Let's give him a hand. Thank you. we are absolutely overwhelmed by this incredible gift, which we believe will have a profound and lasting impact on our students. And on behalf of Weber School District and the Board of Education, I extend our sincere thanks to Intermountain Community Care Foundation board members and to Barry Buse for their unwavering support of Weber School District. I think most of you know this, but I'll repeat it. Barry also serves on our Weber School Foundation, and he has been such an important leader on that foundation and board, and for our foundation board. And I just have been so impressed with just his commitment to helping us help our kids be better. To share more about how this grant will directly affect Weber School District students, I've asked Director Rod Belknap to provide a little bit of insight, and then we'll have you shake everybody's hand. You've seen the drill, okay?
Superintendent Butters and board, we appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. I want to talk just for a minute about some of the opportunities that we feel like will be available to students in the Weber School District. Phone call, sorry. Here are a few of the programs you can see there that we will partner with, local partnerships with Weber State and Ogden Weber Technical College, as we look for more opportunities for our students to be able to enter into the high demand, high wage opportunities that are available in northern Utah in healthcare. There's a myriad of different partners here. The one that we're talking about tonight, absolutely we appreciate with Intermountain Health, and we're so grateful for the award. I know at some point we'll be looking at what the capital part of this will look like, but as far as programming is concerned, you can see some of the areas that we will focus on. Medical assisting, this will help with internships and job shadowing, CNA opportunities. There will be student projects and field trips, guest speakers that will be involved there. Some of the other programs in EMT, dental assisting, phlebotomy, medical assisting, biotechnology, physical therapy, and farm tech. Just a number of great opportunities. Each of these provide students with a head start and opportunities with certifications and degree pursuant through Weber State and also ours there at Ogden Weber Technical College. So we are so excited to expand the offerings in health sciences that give students across Weber School District opportunities to pursue these, and we're grateful for Intermountain Health's generosity in this pursuit.
Mr. Buse, would you like to say anything? We're going to give you the mic. All right, we want to hear from you.
Yeah, on behalf of Intermountain Health Community Care Foundation, we couldn't be more excited about the partnership with Weber School District in this regard. As we look at these positions that we've got on the board today, we talk about these all the time. The job outlook is really strong for these positions. Not only is it strong, but it's needed in our community. So these are deficits that if we don't address, that we'll have in our community. And so we're proud to partner in this way so that people in our communities can receive the care that they need. So thank you for the opportunity to be here and to partner with you in this way.
We are so grateful. Thank you. Would you come up and shake everybody's hand? We'd like to get a photo too. Come on up. Thank you so much.
That's an awesome gift from Intermountain Health, and Barry slipped out, but we want them to know how much we appreciate that. That'll go a long way in helping this district in our CTE programs. Let's move on now. Board, you've had the opportunity to review the items on the consent calendar, and I'd look for a motion to approve that. Doug, second. Jan, any discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Let's do some employee recognitions now, and we'll start with Mr. Kurt Swalberg, please.
Superintendent Butters, President Whittison, and Board. It is such an honor to be here tonight to yet again honor some of our fantastic employees. And today we get to honor one of our second grade teachers, Mrs. Kelly Hepner. So if you wouldn't mind coming up, Mrs. Hepner. As she is coming up, she was nominated by her principal, Mrs. Georgie, and we appreciate Mrs. Georgie recognizing Mrs. Hepner. So probably about 18, 19 years ago, I met Mrs. Hepner for the first time when I got to work with her as her principal at Value Elementary. And from that moment on, she has been nothing but amazing in every aspect. You know, as a principal, sometimes you have hard days. And at the time, she was teaching kindergarten. And very often, as she will attest, probably more than she would have liked, Mr. Swalberg was in her classroom. And he was in her classroom because her classroom was the place to be. You would walk in there having the weight of the world on your shoulders. You'd walk in there, and her students would make you feel like it was the greatest day ever, and nothing but great learning and fun, and it just was the most wonderful feeling that you could ever imagine. You know, it was like Disneyland in, at Valley View Elementary. And so as I got to know Kelly, she just simply continued to amaze me. She's oftentimes the one that was always there at the building. Sometimes I'd have to kick her out of the building. Hey, we got to lock up. You got to go home. Then guess what she would do? She'd take her pile of stuff in her bag, and she'd get it, throw it in her car to go home and to finish. And that's just the attitude that she has. And so with that, we have a wonderful video that we'd like to show you.
If I was to describe Kelly, passionate about many things, her students most of all, and tacos probably second.
You can tell she loves what she does. She always has a smile on her face.
She's always got a smile on her face. Always has a smile on her face. You can tell that she really enjoys her job.
I love how she's always smiling, and I love how she just randomly makes us laugh.
I absolutely love second graders. They are fun, they are kind, they think I'm still kind of cool.
Her enthusiasm for this job is infectious. You know she loves those kids every day, 100%. They know they are loved, and they know that she cares about them and is giving them the best.
She loves her kids, that's really apparent.
What I love most about her is how much her students love to be in her classroom. They seek her out. Parents say nothing but positive things about Ms. Hepner and how their kids love to come to school.
The care and love that she has for them, I've seen even when they go home from school, the way that she talks about them, she'll just start to cry because she loves them so much and her heart is so big.
She has a huge heart, and when those kids enter her classroom, they are hers.
The advice that I would give to a student teacher or a new teacher would be to find the thing that makes you passionate about it and really try to always find that, always look for it, because sometimes we can get muddied down in things, but always look for that thing that makes you feel passionate about what you're doing, and then it just makes your job easier.
And she has that ability to help them be successful and experience success and grow and felt loved the entire year.
Yeah, I really like when she teaches math. We do subtraction for half the time, and then we do time, and then we have these little clocks to help us.
She has incredibly high love and incredibly high expectations for her students, and they see that.
Probably the best thing for me about teaching is when I see kiddos get it. When the light goes on and they have worked hard to understand a hard concept. I get emotional talking about it, but I just love seeing that light come on. So when I see that, It makes my day and makes my job. That's the reason why I'm here, and the reason I keep coming, and the reason I keep trying to do my very best for them.
The most caring and loving person, also a great colleague who is always ready to help anyone here who needs it.
She is a hard worker. You come up with an idea and she's like, what can I do? How can I do it? She's on it right away. Like if I've got an idea that I want to like go through the school, she's like fire and gets everybody on board and gets everybody excited for it.
Congratulations, Kelly. You're amazing. I love you so much.
Congratulations, Kelly. You deserve it.
We're lucky to have her here. Congratulations, Kelly.
Congratulations, Kelly. You totally deserve this.
Congratulations, Ms. Hepner.
Congratulations, Ms. Hepner. I am so proud to be working with you. Thank you.
I love the kids, and trying to stay creative and ahead of them is what helps to keep me younger, I think. So that's why I love teaching.
If I could sum up Mrs. Hepner in one word, just look at her shirt. It says inspire. She inspires all. And so we appreciate so much that what she does for our students, and she is a great candidate. So Superintendent Butters, Board, I present to you Mrs. Kelly Hepner as the I Love Teaching Award recipient.
Okay, I'm just going to take 1 second. My clothes were inside out because it was Inside Out Day. I do know my shirt looks backwards. And I just want to give a shout out to my family. My husband's here, my daughter and her fiance, love them all. And I just want to really thank Mrs. Georgie. Sorry. Oh, please stand up, Matt and AC and Dustin. That's my awesome family. And I just want to thank Mrs. Georgie for I'm so humbled by it. So thank you very much. And I have to give a shout out to Kurt and to Brian Anderson back there, phenomenal principals. So thank you very much. Thank you.
They don't make that, do they? Oh, he's got his eyes.
Who's going to give that speech?
Kelly's
I'm glad you were here.
She switches it over so he knows.
Laurie Adams for the Extra Mile Award, please.
President Widdowson and Board, I am honored to be here tonight to recognize one of our educational support staff for the Extra Mile Award. So Mandy Mortensen, would you please come join me? Mandy started her career with the district about 5-6 years ago, started at Weber High, and we were lucky enough to hire her for one of our buyer positions up here in the district office. She comes to us with an extensive background and experience with buying. And can I just tell you what a fabulous job she does in her role. She was nominated by Kurt Swalberg and Mary Jo Williams for her commitment and everything that she has contributed to building the new schools. And we all know how much work that has been. She's done a phenomenal job, but her commitment and what she has contributed to those schools goes way beyond just ordering supplies and the furniture. You would find Mandy quite often out at the new elementary school or the high school helping clean, mopping or sweeping the floors, getting the schools ready to open. I know that she spent time at the warehouse organizing student groups to come in to where they could pack those emergency backpacks to have ready for the classrooms. So we really appreciate and excited to recognize Mandy for all of her work that she does for the district through purchasing. We'll go ahead and show the video.
And I thought this was an appropriate setting with Ryan here being at Westfield to talk about Mandy Mortensen. And first, let me congratulate her. It's a well-deserved award. But in my time with Mandy, we actually had to sit down. I talked to a lot of architects and contractors, but the person I probably talked to most is Mandy about the furniture, not only in this building, but in all three. We had so many furniture meetings and finance meetings, and she's just done a top-notch job above and beyond, taking that kind of off of our plate a little bit to where she could run that, where I just had one point of contact. She's been phenomenal in working with every administrator in all these new builds and working with us.
Takes a lot of meetings and a lot of design, making sure everything matches, making sure everything works, what's best for kids and their learning. And Mandy, we couldn't have done it without Mandy. Mandy was outstanding in everything she did, from working with the company and then helping us out and matching and everything else. It wasn't possible without her.
No, Mandy's great. She's awesome. She does whatever I ask her to. She helps out with the team and she does a great job. She's motivated to get things done and make sure that she helps the schools and what they need and everything that we need to do as a purchasing team.
Mandy is great. She does a lot for our department with media services and DT&L. We have moved a few times and have started some new libraries, and she has helped us get all of that together and always comes with a positive attitude and is always very quickly with turnaround times, and she is awesome. It's always a great experience to work with Mandy.
It is a delight working with Mandy. She is so easy to be around. She's really good at her job. She knows all of the products. She is able to just help us pick all of the things out, or was able to help us pick all the things out for the teen center that really made the spaces feel homey and welcoming and a space where our students want to be. And I don't know that we could have done that without her. She truly knows her stuff. She works really hard and she is always available when you need her. She is wonderful to work with.
I get feedback all the time from the school saying, hey, Mandy's awesome. She helps me out with whatever I need and is very helpful.
She also has an eye of just making places work in schools, and it's always very, very pretty when it's all done, and she does a great, great job with all that.
She steps in and she'll help out. She helps out the other team members and just tries to make sure that things get done and that everybody's happy.
So I called Mandy when we were getting ready to purchase furniture for most of the teen centers that we have finished this year. And I was really nervous about picking the right stuff, making sure that we got it ordered on time and having it in the spaces when we were ready to do our ribbon cuttings and open the teen centers. And Mandy just it's not even a thing. Okay, and she schedules with the vendor that we're working with. They come to my office and she knew the colors and the finishes as well as the people working for the vendors. I mean, it was really amazing. She made it so much easier. I would have sat there and stared at the flipping samples for hours before I was able to actually make a decision. And she's like, okay, this, and this. And it worked out, and they all are beautiful spaces. So thank you, Mandy, for being so wonderful to work with.
She's always in a good mood and is always delightful to be around. She's helpful and everything. I think she brings a lot of positivity to whatever she's doing, and the people she works with. Vendors have also said that she's great to work with.
I can't say thanks enough for her work and her effort. This award is well-deserved. Thanks, Mandy. Appreciate it.
Mandy, congratulations on this award. This is awesome.
Well deserved, Mandy, for the award. I'm so excited for you. Congrats.
Always being available, always doing it with a smile on your face, and always being willing to jump in and help, like no matter what the situation. So great being with you and getting to work alongside you.
There's a lot of people, I think a lot of you, Mandy. And we are so lucky. She's such an asset to our district and all that she does. And looking and walking through our schools and the designs and the colors and everything, we have to commend Mandy for a lot of that and the input. So Board President Whittison, Superintendent Butters, and Board present to you Mandy Mortensen for the Extra Mile Award.
Thank you so much. I'm totally honored to receive this award. Thanks Ryan for making the video. It turned out really good. I didn't give you much to work with because I wouldn't be on camera. And thanks Mary Jo and Kurt for the glowing nomination letter. I'll cherish that forever. And thanks to a couple coworkers that stuck around to support me tonight. And then my family's here with me. You guys have to stand up when I call your name. So my husband Brock and my daughter Taylor and her husband Nick. They're not fighting, he just came in late. My parents, Dennis and Lana Taylor, and then my in-laws, Kelly and Leanne Mortensen. And Grandma Cookie, we call her Grandma Cookie, Edna Silverthorne. She's 99 years young and amazing. And then, yeah, I know, yeah, that's a round of applause. And can't be here tonight, my son Max and his wife Kayla. Hi Max, he's watching on YouTube. They work out at the schools, and so they're doing their due diligence with parent-teacher conference tonight. So, thank you.
The peanut guy. Yeah, the peanut guy.
Everything's happy. Good things are happening. Yeah.
Well, we've had Principal Patterson up here once before, but we're going to feature him tonight in an administrator spotlight. We'd like Matt to come up if he would. We're going to ask him to walk us through some of the things with his outstanding leadership at Mountain View, some of the things, the initiatives, the achievements, the good things that are going on out there.
I feel like there's a lot more pressure for the presentation. Is that on? Button is the key. We'll work on the hard things first. No, I just say a little more pressure with the the recognition to make sure this presentation's top notch. So hopefully you have a chance to see the things that are going on at Mountain View that we're so proud of, and it's been so honored to be part of a brand new school. I chose this very first picture on purpose. It's this is us out at Mountain View. It's we took on an adventure that's been just a lot of fun. It's but there's a little bit of rough and tumble. You know, I use the analogy lately that we feel like we're the most complicated mixed family that you can come up with. And so we just kind of this united front, and we're all on our horses, and we're on a destination for great places. We went through a great process the very first, almost a year ago now, but over the summer we got the staff together after we went through that process of hiring everybody and get everybody on board, and we knew that having a mission and vision and some core values that were going to drive the work that we were going to do for generations to come really required a lot of great discussion and really some wrestling through this whole process. But I'm really proud of where we landed with our mission and vision. We post this in our school, we share it, we talk about it, and often, but this idea we're committed to growth and determined to succeed is drives a lot of the conversations we have. If you'll notice, the vision is actually unique. There's a couple of words in there that you probably don't see in many vision statements, but as Mavericks, we're trailblazers, achieving what has never been achieved before. We refuse to settle. We will be disruptive to reach success. We will build our community through empathy and grit. Mavericks take risks and are relentless in the pursuit of greatness. We subscribe to this, as we work through all of the challenges of the building still having some final touches and establishing new routines and systems and all of those new pieces. I remember distinctly we had our very first student that needed a little bit of discipline and probably needed to go home for the day, and it was several weeks into the school year, and I turned to Nick Reyes and I says, hey, let's call parents, let's get this kid out, like we need a suspension slip. And we went, oh, we haven't made a suspension slip yet. So there was 1,000 of those kind of conversations that we just needed to create and build systems. But when we came back as a faculty, I think in October, and read this vision statement as a staff, and it meant so much to know how far we'd come and how much we knew that this idea about being a trailblazer, and that we refused to settle, even though things were maybe challenging or difficult, but we knew we had to keep being this word positively, disrupt what was normal. We kept saying to ourselves, well, we're going to do it Mountain View's way, and we're not going to do it the way that we did at a different school or a place that we came from or our past experiences. We were committed to saying, hey, we're going to do this Mountain View's way, and we had that clean slate to be able to do that, and our vision shows that. And then the other area that we wrestled with a lot is that we took on some core values that we know are not the easiest of core values. They require a lot of effort to showing a 12-year-old boy empathy, and what it means to be in the community and to show grit. But we've taken those on, and we're proud of them, and we talk often and share what it looks like and feels like to show these core values amongst our students. These are 4 elements of success that we've subscribed to. We started this way. From day one, we highlighted these, and these are some of our areas that we're focusing on. I'm going to focus on 3 and 4 as we go through, but these are the 4 areas that we're focusing on. We want high levels of learning, and we're focusing on that. We want to see where our kids will end up with that portrait of the graduate, and we're personalizing learning and experiences. We know that because we could start a school, we can start this way. And we want kids to come into a learning environment where everything is tailored specifically to them and their learning, and that they can track that learning. We know that building a community is really, really important, so we're focused on that community engagement and those relationships with our parents and the community leaders and mayors and all of those within our community is a really important focus. But the 2 areas I want to focus on a little bit more tonight is this idea of distributive leadership. We're establishing a highly effective leadership team. We were able to hire those department chairs early on the process, and they had a lot of time to really think about and process about what we wanted the school to be and be part of. but where they're well balanced, they're well prepared, and well supported is what's going to take us well into the future with this leadership team. But we're focusing on multiplying their capacity and also the ability to lead others to success. And I'll show you a slide in just a second, but also relationships first. This culture is massive, and hopefully you know me well enough that this is the thing that drives me every day. I know that if you walk into Mountain View Junior High and you have a name, a face, a voice, and a purpose, regardless of whatever role you are as a student, as a parent, as an aide, as a lunch worker, as a custodian, as the administration, if you feel those 4 things, you're going to want to walk through that building. And we work really hard at making sure that culture exists every day, because if you feel safe and valued there, you're going to want to learn, and you're going to want to be part of that process. And that's what's important to us. So we talk about the distributed leadership really quickly. So what we've done at Mountain View starting out is every member of the staff is on one of these 4 teams. So the staff is divided up in 4. Our department chairs co-chair those teams. Our mentoring is our advisory. Every 4 days a week we have a half hour where we focus on character development. We focus on academic supports and strengths, and then we also work on goal setting and progress monitoring in that mentoring time. And our teachers have really embraced this idea of helping and supporting those kids. We also run our PBIS program through that mentoring, and they really look for ways to promote and help kids. We also have a model instruction. That's our instructional coach, and that department chair and that team are working on how to make us the best educators possible. One of the commitments I made to the staff as we hired is I committed to them that they will become better educators by working at Mountain View Junior High. And this model instruction team is instrumental at making sure that process happens. We also have, like I said, our MTSS and PBS team, and they've done some phenomenal work at establishing our support systems and our incentive systems for our students at Mountain View, and we're really proud of that system. And then lastly, we have a wellness committee, and that's a wellness for our staff and our students, and making sure that we're recognized, and we have pottery classes going on, and walking challenges, and just recognitions. We have shout outs, and that team has implemented that process. Lastly, I want to focus on this culture. We are doing lots and lots of things to establish the culture, especially as a brand new school. We have 10 clubs and groups. I think it's actually more than that, as I counted on the before I came up here. But we've started a spirit club called the Thundering Teal. They are a ton of fun, and they feel the stands, and they're wearing the teal. You probably saw some of those pictures in the other video from Ryan. He caught some of the footage of that, and one of the pictures up here that they're having a recognition assembly and kind of kicking that off. We're working on a Not in Our School project. We're working on some videos and some lessons and some projects at the school. We've been working on some T-shirts that kids can say, hey, no, we're proud of what we're doing, and if we see a student that's maybe not doing the things they should be doing, the collective whole is reminding those kids that that's not who we are as Mavericks. We also were working on a kindness school designation. We should have that at the end of the year, and we're excited to put that banner up. We're also working on the Purple Star designation and recognizing those in our military families and that. And I thought it was just appropriate that if you come to Mountain View, especially before school or at lunch, you're going to see probably 10 or 15 kids roping this poor calf dummy out there. I don't know how he's going to survive. He's already got a couple inches taken off the horns, but it's so much fun to see those ropes, and I had to basically tell them, like, we can't rope each other, we can't rope the furniture, we're going to rope this dummy. But they have loved it, and there's a roping club that they've created, and there's a couple of pictures from that. But our story has just begun, and we're going to do some incredible things. The school is going to be put on the map, and it is going to be a school that others are going to look to throughout the state and even throughout the country. And that's my commitment, is that this is an opportunity to have a flagship school that is recognized on multiple levels. And like I said, we're just starting that story. But here's a couple pictures to kind of show that culture and where we're headed as a school. And you can see that we've embraced it. We're all in. Questions?
I don't have any questions, but I just want to say I worked with Matt for several years at Orion when my kids went there, and he was a pioneer with our cell phone policy at Orion. We were one of the first schools to do that, and he was worried about the students. He was concerned about the students, and so it was a big deal to let's do this, and the results that we got in that first year of that cell phone policy were amazing, and the efforts him and Ben put towards their systems of support, he's been phenomenal. And one of my favorite, it's not a favorite, but a memorable time was when we sat together in a meeting with parents, and Matt said one of the things, he got emotional, and he said, every day I come into the school and I have 1,000 kids that I have to worry about. And so he's a huge leader, and I want to say congratulations on your award. And I mean, I'm sad my kids don't go to Mountain View, but congratulations, thanks.
Thanks, Matt. It wouldn't surprise me in 30 years if one of your students isn't up here following in your footsteps. Thank you. Pam, we had no one sign up for public comment. Okay, thank you. We'll move on to that with some discussion items. Superintendent Butters, please.
Board, I'm sorry, you're hearing more from me tonight, and you hear enough from me, but that just happens to be the tell tonight. As we previously discussed, we are undertaking a comprehensive restructure of our financial operations department under the leadership of Brock Mitchell. This initiative aims to streamline duties and processes, enhance clarity and transparency regarding the department's critical role within our district, and additionally, we seek to provide more intensive support and training to our school-level employees, focusing on effective budget management strategies and best practices. As part of this restructuring effort, we've established an enhanced leadership position within the department, Director of Accounting. After conducting interviews with both internal and external candidates, Board, I'm pleased to announce that we have offered that position to our current Assistant Business Administrator, Seth Pilkington, and I would like to ask for your support on a recommendation to make that formal appointment tonight, and then I'd like to circle back and talk a little bit more about Seth.
Okay. Board, you've heard Superintendent Butters' appointment of Seth Pilkington to be the Director of Accounting. I would look for a motion for that. Bruce, second. Any discussion from anyone on that? Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Seth, come up to the pulpit. Let's give him a hand. Thank you. Let me tell you a little bit about Seth. He holds a master's degree in accounting from Weber State University. He's a certified public accountant, a certified fraud examiner, and a certified school business financial official. So he has a lot of certifications that are important to this particular role. He's been with Weber School District for 10.5 years. Prior to coming to our district, he was the treasurer for Layton City. He has also worked as a forensic accountant for an international firm, and he has been a public accountant for a regional accounting firm. His wife, Jamie, is a school counselor at Westfield. She coaches cross country and track at the high school, has been highly successful in that role. His oldest son, Blake, is a sophomore at Westfield. His middle son, Rylan, is an 8th grader at Rocky, and his daughter, Aaliyah, is a 5th grader at Haven Bay. Congratulations, Seth.
Thank you, Superintendent and Board. Did I turn it on? Yeah. There we go. For those of you that know me, I'm a graduate of Roy High, and I'm a baseball fan, and specifically a Cubs fan. So when Roy was here to sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game, I thought they were singing to me. But they left, so I guess it wasn't all about me. When I came to Weber School District, I was looking for a career where I felt like I was maybe challenged a little more, and a career where I felt like I was making an impact. And public education finance is certainly challenging. But the overwhelming feeling that I have is just an appreciation for those that I have to work with. We have so many dedicated, passionate, driven employees in the district at every level. So to be able to be in the room with them and somehow have an impact on kids is meaningful, and I feel really appreciative to be in this role. I'm fortunate to be married to one of those educators. My wife Jamie is a counselor. We have a lot more burnt orange in our house than we have ever had before. I graduated from Roy, she graduated from Fremont, and there's been some marital friction over the years, but we've landed at a happy spot now with Westfield. My son Blake is a sophomore at Westfield. I have an 8th grader who's not feeling great tonight, so he's at home watching on YouTube. And then my daughter Aaliyah is in 5th grade at Haven Bay. Thank you again.
Seth, before you run away, Superintendent mentioned quite a few accolades that you have. One she missed, or that maybe I missed. Weber State Hall of Fame, Athletics Hall of Fame.
I am a has-been, yes.
No, I know there's something going on up there.
I'm part of Weber State's Athletic Hall of Fame for track and cross country.
Very good. Thanks. Rob Lake, please.
Superintendent Butters, President Widdowson, and the board. With the items discussed in the previous meeting, with participation numbers being skewed a little bit now with the departure of football, we put together a committee and talked about the options of adding a sport to be in compliance with Title IX and get those numbers back to normal. And so our committee landed on boys volleyball. We also talked with our administrators in the junior highs who also agreed that that would be a good fit with all the equipment, the cost, the low cost that it would be to start those programs, and to also support the high schools in their newly sanctioned high school volleyball for boys. And so we are going to make the recommendation to the board to add boys volleyball to the junior highs in the 25-26 school year, and add it to the fall, and would recommend that we play compete on Mondays and Wednesdays to also accommodate referees. So that's our recommendation.
Okay, thanks. Board, it has been recommended to us that we approve boys volleyball as a sport to replace football at our junior high schools beginning during the 2025-2026 school year. I'd look for a motion for that approval. Okay, Kelly, second. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thanks. Appreciate all the work on that. We'll now turn some time back over to Ms. Mybus, Dr. Beccarini, and Superintendent Butters.
Well, board, we're to the point in the meeting that we'd like to address the proposal to entertain participation in the Teacher Merit Award Program. Just as just a little bit of context, maybe for those that are in attendance, last legislative session, Senate Bill 173, Market-Informed Compensation for Teachers, was passed, and that bill granted LEAs the opportunity to implement a merit pay system to financially reward the top 25% of their teachers, highest performing teachers. And while we sincerely appreciate our legislative leaders' efforts to honor and support educators through innovative compensation models, we feel like we've had some great hesitation from the beginning for various reasons that we'd like to discuss tonight about our participation. While we wholeheartedly support efforts to elevate, reward, and retain exceptional educators, we have deep reservations about the design, the implementation, and the potential unintended consequences of this program. A compensation model, we believe, must not only recognize excellence, but it needs to foster fairness, collaboration, and long-term sustainability. And we feel that this program might undermine some things that, very positive things that we have going on in our district. So I'm going to, first of all, turn the time over to our HR Director, Nicole Mybus, to kind of walk us through very briefly the survey results that went out. We wanted to make sure we heard from our great educators who would be most impacted by this, as well as our administrators. So I'll turn the time to her. Thanks, Nicole.
You can just go back to the beginning with the statistics. Okay, you can go. Okay, just to review some of the results is that we were able to receive responses from 734 total respondents, and that included elementary and secondary educators as well as administrators. You can see that of those who responded, there were 46% that were elementary, 46, almost 48% were secondary, and approximately 7% administrators. And the survey sample size of 186 teachers would be about 10% of the total teacher population, which would be a significant amount of educators to respond to a survey, and as well as our administrators, about 10% of the total administrative population. So we did receive a good response to our survey. To break that data down just a little bit more, we have our elementary teachers who were 46%, again, as I mentioned, that or about 339 teachers. And of that 46%, 89.4% of them teach subjects that are in the tested subject areas. So they would be the ones who would be directly receiving that merit pay if they qualified. 16% do support our district's participation, and then almost 84% say they do not. Same with secondary. We see a similar theme there as well, where almost half of them, or 343 teachers, they teach subjects directly tied to state tested subjects. 21% say they do support the participation in the merit program, but 78.4% do not. The theme continues with administrators, where we had 52 administrators respond. 11.5% said they would support participation in the merit program, whereas 88.5% do not. So overall, our statistics say that we have about 65% of all respondents are eligible for merit pay. So again, we have a high percentage of those who responded who would be eligible to receive the merit pay, but only 18% of them would support it, and 82% do not. And there's the written feedback that we saw, not only did they take the time to complete the survey, but they felt very passionate about being able to respond to why they support it or don't support it. And even though they responded that they did support it, they had significant concerns. And you can see there some of what those are. The majority of the responses that we've read through that feedback is the concerns about losing collaboration with one another, being able to keep moving forward with PLCs and that process. They felt like they didn't want to see other educators excluded from being eligible for the merit pay. So they just expressed, even though they supported it, they felt there were a lot of concerns around the model and how it would be implemented. So some great significant data there. So the big takeaway would be that 66.2% of all respondents are eligible for the teacher merit pay, but 80% of them say they do not support participation in the Teacher Merit Award program. Do you want to get in?
Thanks, Nicole. Appreciate your help on this. Board, I'm just going to cover very briefly, because I know I've sent this to you in a pretty detailed memo, the reasons why we have concerns with this Merit Award program. I'll just highlight a few things, if you would bear with me for just a second, because I really want our constituents, and I want our teachers, our educators, to hear what we have to say on this. And so bear with me if I take a little bit of time here. Our biggest concern, one of our biggest concerns, is just with the model's design and implementation. right now, as it stands, it directs us, it dictates that we have to weight student performance outcomes between 55 and 75% of the evaluation of a teacher. So there's this really heavy emphasis on student outcomes and state testing. We've got a little bit of flexibility where we can weight their performance 5 to 20% on their evaluation, their professional evaluation, and anywhere between 2 and 5% we can consider parent input, survey input information. And as I look at that breakdown, it's too skewed to testing. It's too skewed. That breakdown does not speak in our minds to the incredible impact that teachers have on their students every day in a myriad of ways. And so we want to make sure that you understand, board, that that's something that really concerns us. By relying so heavily on state assessment, the program also inherently excludes many of our outstanding teachers from merit pay consideration, and that's bothersome to us. We are also, if I could go forward to the second one, and I'm going to cover 7 very quickly, reasons why we're going to recommend to you that we opt out of this opportunity. We feel like the evaluation metrics aren't fair. They're not equitable. And I'm going to have Dr. Beccarini speak to that, and then I just we'll move through the last couple.
Thank you, Superintendent. So thank you, Board, for hearing us on this. So when we're looking at these, the overall program that the center has provided, and the center being the Center for Future Schools that receive the administration responsibilities for this from the bill. We haven't received, there hasn't been adequate support or training on exactly how the assessment is going to, or how the assessment teams are to develop this formula, nor do we know what their formula is going to be, right? And that creates a problem for our input-output, because we want to ensure that the best teachers have the best chance when they go up against the state, and that also creates this the lack of transparency, right? Without understanding that, our top 25% may compete differently against other districts' top 25% that they put in. And then when we look at accuracy of this, you know, we're really not addressing the concerns across the state. It's like everybody gets a chunk of the pie. So there are schools that and LEAs that are opting in, that have schools that are in the bottom quartile of the entire state, and their top teacher might be in our mid-range. And they're going to have that chance, but our middle teachers wouldn't. So, you know, when the state's divvying out the money that way, it's not, they can't say that they're taking the top 25% of the teachers in the state, right? And that's really where our concerns as an assessment director, and with collaboration with other assessment directors in LEAs who have opted out after the initial opt-in, which gave us this grace period. They're just concerned on the overall accuracy with their evaluation system that's going to a 5-point scale, a value add when we do a student growth percentile for scores. So there's a lot of research that needs to be done before they jump to this with millions of dollars at the end of the day.
Thank you. The evaluation process is tricky in any organization, and there's so much subjectivity to it, and we really try to provide our teachers effective, authentic feedback about their performance. That's so important. That process is so important. And we feel like this program could potentially, because it's such high stakes, so high stakes with money attached to it, that we feel like that our principals and our administrators might inadvertently feel pressure to inflate evaluation scores just so that teachers qualify. And imagine the pressure and the administrative burden that creates when you're trying to give very authentic feedback to teachers. We have so many wonderful teachers. And so without a fair, well-rounded approach to assessing teacher performance as per this program, administrators will be forced to prioritize metrics dictated by the model rather than on a comprehensive view of our teachers' impact. And that's very concerning to us. Our educators are far more than their students' test scores, their growth data, or survey results. They are the heart of our schools. They shape the culture, they foster engagement, and they provide critical whole child support. And I feel like right now in this particular environment that we are in, our educators are feeling undervalued. And I think the intention of this program was to help them feel more valued, but the process that we would have to go through to get to that place, I feel would have some unintended negative consequences for the reasons I've talked about. Just a couple of other reasons why this is a worry to us. Merit pay structures often foster competition rather than collaboration, and we have been working really, really diligently over many years to bring our level of collaboration and camaraderie around student performance and supports to a higher level. And it would make it very difficult if some folks in that equation are being recognized for their efforts and some aren't. It's very difficult to manage. So we want to continue to foster that culture of collaboration, and we believe that this particular merit pay model threatens to dismantle, has the potential to dismantle a collaborative culture. The fourth reason, board, why we believe that this is something we should opt out of and recommend that we opt out of is we believe that it might inadvertently impact our most high impact schools. We might have educators, even though they have the ability in those schools to even earn higher amounts of money, we believe that the pressure around getting kids in those schools to certain places academically would be troublesome. And also, every single educator in those buildings is needed in that building. And then there's going to be some that aren't qualified for this merit pay. And imagine how difficult it might be to keep their morale up as they're working extra hard with impacted populations. The fifth reason why we believe this could be problematic is that we have a really heavy load going on right now to implement Elevate 28 throughout our district, and we believe that comprehensive plan is going to accomplish many of the things that this program is intended to accomplish around student achievement, around helping our students in a whole child support way. And so we believe we already have a very good strategic plan in place for that reason. And then the sixth reason, that we're living again in a climate, it feels like right now legislatively and otherwise, where local control seems to be waning. The priority on local control seems to be waning. We believe in Weber School District that we know what our students need. We know what supports they need. We need funding that we can create our own, maybe perhaps merit pay programming and incentivize our teachers in very productive, effective ways. But it feels like this is a program that is kind of being thrust upon us versus letting us have some of the decision-making process and some of that engagement in the process. And then lastly, we believe that the data speaks powerfully. When you have the vast majority of those that responded to our survey, 80% say, you know what, we would all like a little bit more money, but we're worried about our comrade that is not going to be qualified for this money, and we're worried about collaboration, and we're worried about all of these things that were expressed in the written feedback that we've all looked at. I think we have to listen to our teachers' voices. I think we have to hear them and honor them. And so for the reasons that I've stated, board, I would respectfully ask and recommend that we have an approval by you to opt out of the Teacher Merit Award program. Any questions, first of all? Yes.
A question, is the legislature indicated what they would do with those funds? It looks like the majority of the school districts are going to turn it down. Will that create an adversarial atmosphere between the legislature
I sure hope not. I sure hope not, because any legislator that is listening and that I've engaged with, Board Member Hurst, I'm trying to say to them, we certainly appreciate your intention. What we have the problem with is the unintended consequences and the design of the program. Yeah. We haven't had, I haven't had anybody, as I've asked that question, what will happen to the money? it's been dog-eared for this particular pilot program. I would assume that then at the end of the 5-year pilot, we would have an understanding of if that money was going to be used to continue the program or so forth. But I do know that more money would not be allotted to districts because we're opting out. They would still only recognize the top 25% of those that are participating. Okay?
Yeah.
Great question.
I don't have a question. I just have a few comments that I wanted to make, if that's okay.
Sure.
I just wanted to thank all the teachers who responded to both the WEA and the district survey. Between the two, there were like 12 to 1,500, like Nicole said, comments, and they were all thoughtful and purposeful, and some of them were surprising, especially regarding the teachers who were eligible for the merit pay increase, who were opposed to it because of all the inequities. I wanted to thank the teachers for their texts. Some of them sent me texts and emails and written letters in the mail. I just wanted to, some of the things that stood out to me in the comments were speaking about the merit pay. Teachers described it as toxic. They described it as demoralizing, that they're done being judged, that this kind of merit pay is the Hunger Games for teachers in the state of Utah, that legislators need to spend more time in their classrooms, that this type of merit pay is horrible for morale and teacher retention. One teacher wrote, "Reading this email made me want to quit," and that we need to make the state do better. And so I appreciate that. For me, when we have to make this decision, this was totally something that was for the teachers, and so I appreciate and wanted to listen to their feedback on it. I didn't know which way the district would go on your recommendation. I personally didn't love the 3-year payout plan, that teachers were only eligible one time and they would get that payout for 3 years. That doesn't make any sense to me. And again, the majority of the teachers who said yes had major concerns with the program, and most of them said, well, if the state allocated money, maybe we should get it. But I would rather have that money spent to reduce class sizes, to give all teachers a pay increase, and to give us things like classroom aids. And so I think what we've done by listening to teachers, I would encourage our legislature to do the same thing, to listen to the teachers' voices and what they want and what they need. And I also, there were some comments directed toward the district where we maybe need to do better, and I think with our Elevate 28, we're working on that, where some teachers were concerned that their opinion didn't matter, and I want to let them know that their opinions do matter. And one teacher said, I already live in a state of stress over my career, and so I want to do what, I want us as a school board to do what we can do to help lessen that, and I think we will do that with opting out of this merit pay program.
I just want to give a shout out to our team who made such intentional and comprehensive look at making this decision for their recommendation. That is not an easy thing to gather that many surveys and that much opinion. And they collected all the hard data while we got a lot of soft data from people who reached out to us. But it is the same information either way. So thank you to our team who did that.
Thank you, everybody. Just one final comment. This is irony, big time irony. I had a good friend that was former state legislator, and I asked him the question, did you ever get frustrated when the federal government would send money to the state, but it had strings attached? And they were telling us what to do. He said, we were so frustrated with that. They thought back in Washington, D.C., they were smarter than we people out here in Utah, a bunch of local yokels who didn't know what they're doing, so they were smarter, and now they're doing the same thing. Ironic. Doing the same thing, the state to the local organization.
I would just echo what has been said. In my time on the school board, I don't know that I've had a more passionate plea come from more people than this issue. And so it was good to hear from all the educators. And it was unanimous in those things that came, that it was important to them that the students received what they needed, And it was less important for them to be recognized as the top 25 than it was for, as a united group, to be lifted together. And I firmly believe that a rising tide lifts all ships, and I think that's what we should be about as we move forward.
Well said. Well said.
Anything else? Okay. This has been a huge project. We appreciate everybody's work on it and everything you've done. Board, it's been recommended to us that we support the decision to opt out of participation in the Utah Teacher Merit Award Pilot Program. I need a motion to support this recommendation. Bruce, second Jan. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of that? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Heidi Alder, please.
We just have a couple of policies to present to you on second reading and then one new policy on first reading. The first of our second reading policies is policy 7140, professional internship and field placement policy. We presented that last month and we have had no feedback, no comments. We made one minor change to the title. We added the term professional internship to distinguish it from student internships. So we would submit policy 7140 to the board on second reading.
Thank you. Board, I need a motion to approve updated policy 7140, internship and field placement on a second reading, please. Jan, a second. Kelly, any discussion or questions? Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
The next policy is policy 6400, which is our visitors policy. And, oh, sorry, that's the first read. The volunteer policy from last month is 6550, and that's being presented to you on a second read. We didn't have any updates or feedback on that policy, and so we would ask that the board adopt that policy on second read.
Board, I'd look for a motion to approve the new policy 6550 volunteer on a second reading. Kelly and Wiley. I wanted to call you Clyde. Kelly and Wiley, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
And then last, we have a new policy. This is a policy about visitors to our school, protocol that we want to ensure is followed whenever we have people coming to visit our school. That's policy 6400. It outlines the requirements for visitors, explains that visitors who don't comply with the policy and are on our property could be charged with criminal trespass. And there are so far, we haven't received any comments because it hasn't been published because this is the first read. So we would submit this policy to the board to adopt on a first reading, and then we'll bring it back next month after it's been out to the public.
Thank you. Board, I'd ask for a motion to approve updated policy 6400 visitors on a first reading, please. Doug, second. Bruce, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Thanks.
Thank you.
Wonderful. That concludes this part of our meeting. We have a need to convene in a closed session tonight. This is a strategy session to discuss the purchase, exchange, lease, or sale of real property, and to discuss pending or reasonable imminent litigation. Board, I need a motion to convene into a closed session. Jan, a second. Kelly. Roll call, Mr. Mitchell.
Yeah. So if you would please, with roll call, respond yes or no going into a closed session. Board Member Williams?
Yes.
Board Member Larson?
Yes.
Board Member Burrell?
Yes.
Board Member Jardine?
Yes.
Vice President Hurst?
Yes.
And Board President Whittison?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. We appreciate your attendance.